I have a terrible stomach ache. It hurts. I don't know. Ouch. Every day we're getting farther away from summer, and I am every day a little more happier. June is finally over. I had a terrible time. I hated June. I hated every second of June. I hated June so much. I was grieving the entire month, and I was in pain the entire month, and it was so hard the entire month, and so many things were happening that just kept depressing me. And every time my brain would like try to be better, something would happen, and I would be so sad, and I hated June so much.
I hated June so much.
Oh my god, summer is cursed. I don't like summer. Hello though, I like you though, so. Hi, how are you? That's an incredible segue, and I'm proud of myself because I can't think of anything right now. Also, I hated June because of how much of a reading slump I was in. I could not read for the life of me. I turned to graphic novels because one, the final is gonna happen. They're dragging the living shit out of it, but it's gonna happen soon. Since I'm filming this, it's not happened yet. It's gonna happen soon. And I'm a binge kind of person. I will not watch something and wait for 2 weeks to watch something else or a week to watch something else. I wouldn't even wait a day to watch something else. I will binge everything. So I'm reading. Why am I telling you this now? You're gonna see when I start talking about the books. Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing okay. June is over and these are all the books I read in it. Okay, so I just counted and I read 13 books. Finished ones that I started last month, but I'm gonna count it anyways because I want to, and it makes me feel better about myself and my achievements. And I started the month by finishing off The Priory of the Orange Tree. I made an entire video about it. Starting the book, finishing it, every thought I had, not every thought I had, that would have been like a 2-hour long video. Finished Priory of the Orange Tree, loved Priory of the Orange Tree, one of the best books that I've read, not just this year, but of all times. It's an epic fantasy following a bunch of kingdoms, and we have a bunch of kingdoms and dragons and lesbians, and I love all of those things. So I loved it, 5 stars. Then I read a surprise read. I read Online by Madeline Taylor. This is the book, and I like this so much. Did not expect to like this the way I did. I loved it so much. So it follows a lady who's like a CEO, like this very successful bad bitch type energy. She's like 42 years old or whatever, and basically she meets someone in a group chat where they only read and discuss lesbian erotic books, and she meets someone there, and like she never thought she would be into all of that, and she was divorced and she didn't know why the fuck she was divorced and whatnot, and then she stumbles across a lesbian erotic book by accident, and she basically orders something and something different comes in the mail, and then she gets sucked in the lesbian erotica whirlpool of books, and she meets someone, and then they end up meeting in real life, and what was supposed to be a one night stand thing ends up being so much more, and I liked it. It was super smutty and super entertaining. The plot didn't even need to be plotty, but it was plotty. Like the plot was plotting, and the smut was smutting, and everything was cool, and I ended up really liking it. It was very, very entertaining and a great read for the month of June. Then, just an impromptu read, I read How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate by Holly Black. If you don't know, then you're gonna know now. I'm a huge fan of the Folk of the Air trilogy. I love the Folk of the Air trilogy. Loved it when I read it. I still love it now. It was so magical and it took me to somewhere else. So of course I picked up How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate, which is a book that I swallowed my spit. So basically it's the aftermath of the last book in the trilogy, what happened, and it goes back and forth with the main male character or the antagonist of the story of the original trilogy, on like with his childhood, and then him now and what he's doing and what he's up to, and what made him the man he is, or what made him the man he was, and how he overcame that. I did not expect to like it as much as I did, but I loved it. It was a weird type of book, and I would not have liked it as much as I did had I not read and loved the trilogy. Then I read The Kraken Sacrifice by author Katie Roberts. I made an entire video about it after I read it because I needed to talk to someone about it, and this is the video. Nothing much to say here. It's tentacle porn. Then I read Nothing But Black and Teen by Cassandra Cow. Sorry about the name. I am stupid. This was a disappointment. This was so... oh my god, ew. What the fuck? This was so freaking hyped and so all over the place. Like, each time I would look into thrillers or I would look into horror-based or unique-based books, I would legit always be recommended this book, and I finally read it. It follows a bunch of friends or enemies or whatever the fuck they are, going into a trip to a certain castle in Japan, I think, paid by one of their very rich white friends. And basically there was a myth in this castle. They're all horror junkies, they all follow like myths and whatever and trying to get a little bit of an adrenaline rush, and the myth turns out to be true. I was so freaking confused all the time. It's a short book, and if you want to read it, of course, go ahead and form your own opinion or whatever. So it's very short, it's not like a huge commitment, so you can definitely try to read it. Not that you can't try to read a big book. What the fuck, Marie? What the fuck? I mean, it's not as big of a commitment if you're not into the NF books. That's what I meant. I wasn't insulting you. I promise. I love you, the ghetto and shit. What? So the myth turns out to be true, and I was just confused. There were so many racist comments wrapped up in a woke wrapping, thrown all over the place for no reason. And so many fights and so many drama, so much drama for no reason and out of nowhere, and it was just unnecessary. There is a love triangle, I think, and it's still unnecessary. I was so freaking confused. I legit thought someone was with someone and then they weren't, and then they were holding hands while they're getting... I don't know. I was so freaking confused, and it wasn't thrilling to me at all. Like, I did not care. Everyone is so hateable. Not one of them is charismatic. Not one of them is likable. Everyone is just annoying as fuck, and everyone is so woke or have so much like white guilt. If they're white, they have white guilt. If they're not white, they just keep throwing racist comments wrapped in a woke wrapping. And I don't like it. I just did not like it. Then I read Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea again. I read this book a while ago, and I think this is the third time reading it. The first time I DNF'd, I think. I don't really remember why, I don't remember how. And then I gave it a second chance, and I just was bored. And then I gave it a third chance, and I finished, of course, the second and the third time, because I am a grown, mature adult now and I can read a 100-page book without wanting to die. But that's a lie. Yeah. But I was still bored. Nothing much to say here. It's a beloved classic and still very much worth the read, and I like reading it, and I will probably read it again and again and again, but I'm still gonna be bored. I don't know what to say about this book. Read it if you want, don't read it if you want, I don't care. No one cares. Then I read the collected stories by the title The Trees Grew Because I Bled There by author Eric LaRocca. I ended up making it into a video just gawking and fangirling about the author because I liked them so much. I love this book. This was my favorite book by them. As of yet, I still want to read so much. They have a lot of work and I'm so thankful for that. They are such a unique voice in literature right now. And in my opinion, I think an author's books that will stick around. It's the type of book that you want to read and reread and keep and reread again, as they don't really, I don't want to say satisfy you, because they do, but just not in a way that you don't want to read them again. Like you finish them and then you're done. It's super subversive, it's super unique, it's super bloody and gory, and it's such a unique voice in literature right now. And I think for the last decade or so, even more, to be honest, and it really stands out. And I think even though they got the recognition they deserve with Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke, I think they deserve even more, especially for the ones like The Trees Grew Because I Bled There, because it's a work of genius and I loved it so much. Then I started reading Attack on Titans. I read through 1 through 5 so far. I'm gonna read all of it. I love Attack on Titans. Attack on Titans is my second favorite anime and manga, or graphic novels, whatever you want to call them. I personally call them graphic novels, because it makes me sound not like I'm reading drawn stuff on paper. Okay? And it makes me feel good by myself, so just let me do it. Okay? Okay. If you don't know, then the last installment in the last installment is almost done, and I loved it so much. It's very entertaining, it's very well done, it's very smart, it's heartbreaking at times, it's just entertaining at times, it's funny at times, and the banter is amazing. I don't know, I feel weird sitting here and saying, oh, go read Attack on Titans, it's really good, because it's weird. Like, you should read it, you should have been reading it, it's real good. And then I just finished the month with Of Shattered Dawn by authors Camille Dwight and Talia Graves, and it's expected to be published on September 1st of this year, 2023. So I liked it, I would recommend it. I did make a video, I don't know if it's gonna be up when this is gonna be up, I don't know yet, but if it is, I'm gonna put it somewhere. If it's not, I'm sorry, just wait for it, I guess. It was sent to me to review because it's gonna be published soon, and I reviewed it. I liked it. It's good for a beginner fantasy hoe, but not really for a fantasy reader, or an epic at least fantasy reader, because it left me wanting so much more than it gave me, but it was still good. It was lovely, actually. It was 3.5 stars. The banter was amazing. The romance was very, very, very cute, and I liked how you got a lot of stuff and not just one type of relationship, but I wanted way more than it gave me, but it was still good, and a lot of ACOTAR vibes, and I freaking love ACOTAR. So that's the month. Those are the books that I've read. What have you been reading? Please do let me know. And other than that, I'm going to see you next video. Yes, you go and take care of yourself right now and read the book, drink water. Also, goodbye.